Too bad.
Good morning to Dick, Taylor, and Wendy Smith for our Port of call from the Port of Shelton. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
Good.
Morning.
Another Chamber of Commerce
It is
morning.
a beautiful day here in the South Sound, and we have been looking and talking about all sorts of things. Now, I would imagine, since it was near 80 yesterday, the snow's all gone from port property.
Not
Not
quite.
quite.
I still saw some over there. I couldn't believe it. Took
We
my
had a
son to
couple
driving
piles that were
Yeah,
pretty
kind of
big,
dirty
but
and brown.
Yeah,
it's
for
pretty,
sure.
I mean, I think they're
That's
probably
hard
down to-
snow too. You hit that thing. And
Yeah.
hard as a rock.
Yeah, but no, pretty much.
Pretty much
yeah.
all done.
But it is weird to transition, port maintenance. It's like we're going from
Yeah.
plowing to, I mean, that was just, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
said
start
I
to
got
mowing.
Seeding and mowing, yeah.
Right,
Take
yeah.
off one part of the rig and add the other.
Yep. Yeah.
Did I see you guys have a job opening up there on port
We
property?
do,
Tell us about it.
Yes. So as you know, Al was retiring,
Yeah.
and so that just kind of takes our numbers down a notch, and so we're kind of shifting people more into positions. But we're opening just an entry level, so maintenance one, and it's on our website and it's on our Facebook page, so you can find the application on our website, and yeah, come on in, apply.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
a good group of folks now.
Yeah.
Yep.
With Brandon Palmer and the like out there
That's
working
right.
on things.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
small crew that's a happy crew.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they work well together. And
Well, and it's, working at the port is diverse both in the office and out of the office. I mean, every day's different, it's from, we have a leak in the water line, so we got to see if we can find it. It's not on us, it's a tenant, it's on their side, or rail repair, or, now we've got to go out to bids and we've got to, maybe get quotes on, something, or siding or painting something. I mean, striping roads. I mean, it's just
Little bit of
variable.
everything.
So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it is a little bit of everything.
Well, you bring up the difference between your side of perhaps a property and the tenant's side of the property. How does that responsibility lie? And I can't imagine knowing you guys over the years to know you to just be like, well, that's
Sorry,
your
you're
side.
broke.
You deal with
Yeah.
it.
It is tough. It's tough. Our leases are pretty defined. So when somebody is leasing a building or a company is leasing a building, it's pretty defined that we take care of the roof and the foundation of the buildings. The rest is basically on them.
Okay.
As long as they've moved into something that's a workable condition. It's as is. But there's always those questionable, or we had a couple years ago, we had a tenant call and say, wow, we came back on Monday after the weekend, nobody was here, and our, side wall was smashed in, like somebody backed right into it. And so who
Sure.
is that,
Sure.
So that actually ended up on our insurance,
yeah.
Okay.
to get that repaired. Yeah, it's it's a good communication type relationship, but it's pretty spelled out. Recently, as in yesterday, we noticed a high water usage at Johns Prairie for one of our tenants, and so we kind of track that and monitor that, because we keep we watch our unaccountable water all the time.
Yeah.
And so as we notice that, then the crews go out and then they, kind of look at, our side of that meter and decide, is it a leak in our side? And when it isn't, then, we call the tenant and they did a locate and they found the leak yesterday.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Cool.
yeah, they said, we'd like to repair it. We said, great,
Please.
so our crews are right out there. Yeah. So, because it costs money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a
we
charge
remember
for
that
water.
leak? We had a leak out there at Johns Prairie for years.
Yeah, for like
That we couldn't find.
decades.
And
yeah.
it was causing a considerable expense.
Sure.
And just wasted water and wasted water. It
Well,
wasn't being
and that
used.
causes a huge concern with, ecology
Yeah.
and water and, just all
Oh,
your
yeah.
Yeah,
water
that stuff, yeah.
situations. And so when they finally found it, it was in the old mill, and millwrights tend to go, well, I can just plug my hose in right there, and
Yeah.
so they finally, detected
found
it.
it,
But
yeah.
it took,
Wow.
turning this off and, just having section by section and, trying
Yeah,
to
but it
figure
took,
out.
what?
Years.
4 or 5, yeah,
It
4 or
was
5
years.
years.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're not even sure what's the real.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
exactly.
are we always using this much water?
Exactly.
We have to
Yeah,
really go
exactly.
back
exactly.
and look at the
Yeah.
records.
Well, and that's the beauty, kind of having, like your well, and you're reading your wells, and then you're reading the meters, and then you can see if there's this big gap in, I mean, sometimes it's, a little bit of a gap or a, something else, but yeah, you can pretty quickly tell that, something's not adding up. There's a lot more water being said it's being used.
Yeah.
And we can't figure out who's using it. So,
What else is
Yeah.
going on with the port property these days?
so we had our meeting
Had a meeting.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And we were happy to renew M&R Distributing.
Sure.
They're our big Tier 3 cannabis producer processor on port property. They're the only one at Sanderson Field.
Were they the first ones?
They were one of the first, yep.
First
yep.
for us.
Yeah, for sure. So they renewed for another 5 years, and we're happy to keep them along. So we've got that under wraps. And then we also approved a resolution to go after some more curb money. And this is just part of that process. You have to have a resolution to go forward in their process. So so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
exciting. That's what, 3 million?
Yeah, curbs normal limits are 2 million, but they had more money in their budget, and the biennium's due to end, and so they upped their limit, knowing they only had a certain number of meetings left, and so we went after the 3 million, and it's kind of a big bite
deal.
for us. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back on the M&R, if you
Oh,
go
yeah.
to 502data.com, they track all this stuff from processors, producers, retailers, and things like that. And by leaps and bounds, M&R is the highest, producer processor in the county at near 13, almost $14 million in sales. And I know when it first came about, some of the commissioners were a little apprehensive to this industry, but now that it's been around for 4, 5, 6 years now,
5 years. yeah.
5 years now, looking back, I think
Well,
it's a
yeah,
good
some
idea.
of the concerns were that, well, first of all, to our mind, it was quasi legal.
Yeah, right,
you
because
know,
still
and-
federally not recognized.
Yeah, and all that sort of thing. But we got the note from the FAA in writing
Yeah,
that said we could do that. And the next big hurdle that we had to overcome is they had to have a bank,
yeah.
because we weren't going to take payment in dollars. If
Sure.
you could just
No
imagine
banks
a guy
of
coming
cash.
with a wheelbarrow full of money and then giving it to Wendy for the staff up
One,
there, to put in the desk drawer till the bank
Right, yeah.
they could get in the bank. So they had to have a banking connection so that we could do it either electronic or by check, that kind of thing. And that came through.
Oh, okay.
And then there were some concerns about what it was going to smell like. People,
Yeah.
You know, and to my mind, I haven't smelled it yet.
I didn't even know. I've been spending a lot of time there with my son, and
I
Yeah, it's
think-
over there by
Did they-
where Troop Fab is.
I think
in
on
that area.
like one day over the last 5 years, on a super hot day with the winds just right, I smelled something.
kind of that inversion.
But you really,
Yeah, the only time I
you have
smelled
to
it
be
was when
sniffing. You have to be sniffing for it.
I was on a tour of the building.
Yeah.
Inside it.
Yeah.
I've never
it's
smelled it
pretty
outside,
pungent.
but that's me.
And
I've
those ti-
smelled it, going out every day in and day out. But it seems like it's lessened. I mean, I feel like over the years,
sure,
like
all the
and
new
it could-
scrubbers and
Yeah,
technologies.
yeah.
That's
But,
the other
you know,
big
that
thing.
was a
is
big
the-
concern. I mean, people were
Oh,
worried
yeah.
about that.
working
So that was
right
one of our
next to them.
concerns.
They
Yeah.
were, yeah.
And then I know that over the years that these buildings have such tight regulations on security and cameras.
Right.
There's cameras everywhere, and that's got to help with
Yeah.
the security overall
Yeah.
at the port
Oh,
property.
yeah,
that
it
was
does.
great for us. Yeah, it was
And
an added.
the owners had to fund that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all
Yeah.
on
It's
them.
all
It's
their
all through
deal.
LCB.
So it's been a very positive experience for us so far.
Well, and when when we signed on, and we actually signed on 6 that year in 14, I think we were at a place where we had empty buildings. We had
Mm-hmm.
buildings like M&R took on that were,
On the edge of
World War
decrepit,
II
Yeah.
hangars that had sat vacant for many years, except for maybe the onesie twosie. I need it for a couple months for this big like when PUD was being built, the construction company used that for storage of materials. For us, that was huge. We had many empty buildings, and just to get those under, and now they're in a lot greater
better
condition than they
condition,
were, back then.
Yeah, he
So-
spent I don't know,
Oh,
Tons.
they've poured
Yeah, tons of
millions.
money,
They've
millions
put
in it.
millions into
Because
those
rewiring
buildings.
it and reworking the wall.
Yeah.
oh sure,
Yeah.
Internal.
Well, and
Huge project.
specific to their business, which does not help, the port.
Yeah.
They have done things, that add value to their business, and then once they leave as a tenant, they're required to, remove those trade fixtures and that kind of thing that, another tenant couldn't use.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Interesting. Just
So
another
it's been a positive experience.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's been a positive experience for us.
year over year, month over month. It looks like things are just going up and up for that industry there. Very interesting. Very cool. Dick Taylor, Wendy Smith, always nice talking with you guys. A variety of issues. You never quite know where we're going to get to, but we
That's
always
right.
have something to talk about.